All right. Most of you at this point should be aware of the shooting that we had in New Zealand. Um, I said before, I feel like a broken record with a lot of these discussions because it's usually bad thing happens. I say it sucks. I say, oh, if you do this one thing or these two things, I think it can change. Nothing happens. You have another one, blah, 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 blah. So I thought instead I'd actually try to talk about a little bit from the level of things about it that are uncharacteristic of most of these. For example, I've never seen during any of these shootings the actual the murderer go in with the weapon and then have themselves filming it. That is unheard of from what I've seen. Just as far as the ones I can recall, anyway. I'm sure someone else maybe has done that in the past, but not to my knowledge. I also thought it was really interesting, and I thank Tim for that comment over there with about the death toll. Without me having to go and look it up, 49. I thought it was really interesting when they pointed out that this was the deadliest attack over there since the Featherston prisoner of war camp riot in 1943, where you had 49 people also murdered or killed, rather. So let me say hello to Ruben, who is posting, I guess, what is the equivalent of an emoji, supposedly. A lot of people have been trying to attach this, and I guess what I get pissed off about is oftentimes people try to use the shooter to attack whatever public figure or person they don't like. So, for example, you saw, I think it was PewDiePie had some kind of, they were trying to make some connection between him and the shooter, where the shooter liked his stuff or something to that effect. But I know they tried to make the comparison with Trump, and I said, look, whether you like Trump or not, he's not putting the guns in the hands of any of these crazy people, especially not in some other country. But hey, whatever fits the agenda. So they're all having fun with that. Yeah, Ruben, we were supposed to be doing the next gaming stream, but I decided to put that off until tomorrow or at some point during this weekend as a result of this. The guy uploaded the 8chan, which is offshoot of 4chan. It was a messed up guy. Both the left and the right are attacked through their own angles. Oh yeah, they're using him to go after each other. I'm saying that that's what pisses me off because you see that they here's the thing about a lot of people online. They'll tell you, "Oh my God, I'm so disgusted by what happened," and it grosses me out. But then there'll be the same people who will take the incident where all these people get massacred and then use it to attack someone they don't like. So, for example, if I say, "Hey, look, I think we need to do something about this particular policy," that it is what it is. If I say, "Oh no, Trump or whoever let me see what the prime minister of New Zealand is or the president, whichever high-ranking official. If I don't like them, I go, it's their fault. It's like, no, let's talk about what could have been done to prevent this or what exactly, what led to this kind of behavior. Because most people at this point still are not crazy enough to go out and do this. So this shows you that there is an overwhelming chance of stopping it for the most part, but they don't take the time to actually look into it. It's because the shooter said to subscribe to PewDiePie before he started shooting. The Brazil also said to subscribe to PewDiePie. Yeah, that's Jesus Christ. I wish people would factor in that if he's telling you to subscribe to this person, or if these two people who are in various incidents are advocating for that, it might have something to do with the fact that the person they're talking about is known by millions of people, and you know that because they've been subbed to by millions of people versus PewDiePie actually being a demon or some other nonsense. God, they just blame anyone that again they don't like for whatever happens. I think I'm already out of stuff to say. Um, I'm not entirely familiar with the gun laws in New Zealand. I'll have to look it up. He uploaded his manifesto or posted. He's an ego. Is using this as a call for more gun control. Oh yeah, well, like I said, I don't know what their laws over there are. That's why I'm not talking about changing anything currently. I'm just kind of giving my reaction because this is my reaction. And the biggest part of that shooting that phases me the most is the video of it, because I'm so used to reading online 50 people massacred in whatever country, or in the Vegas shooting, it was 56, I believe. So when you keep, instead of reading these numbers and you actually see the person going in there and doing this, it's a lot more realistic. That's why when we were talking about the Yemen situation, Ruben, one of the positives of going around and showing people the pictures is that it's easy to say, hey, look, these hundreds of thousands of people got bombed, but look what happens to them prior to getting bombed. Look at all the starving that's going on and all the the desire by the Saudi government to have them in that state prior to massacring them in an even worse way. Yeah, the video is god awful. And YouTube was trying to get people to take it down. They just keep posting it over and over and over again. And even if they get it off of here, they're still going to put it on Live Leak anyway. I think they're probably, that's another one of those things where it's hard for me to really take a side, because on one hand, I do think that the video is terrible, and that there are people who do glorify those kind of shootings or just shootings in general and like to look at that kind of stuff with some sadistic pleasure. But I think that if it's out in the public venue and if it helps people to understand the seriousness of this type of crime, it's not exactly off-putting to have it out there. Just my position. It's kind of like with the Zapruder film. It's like, yeah, nobody enjoys seeing Kennedy get massacred, but it still is a historical thing that was caught on tape. That's why it's complicated. It's not something I would just easily say, get rid of it or keep it. There's a little bit of a back and forth and internal struggle. Ruben says, I hate PewDiePie and I still don't blame him for this. I don't even blame Trump. He was just an unstable man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That, they don't want to factor in that all of us, whether we say one thing or another, do not have the ability to control other people, especially people we've never met before. God, you would think this guy was PewDiePie's son from the stuff I was reading on Twitter. Which, by the way, Ruben, Twitter has they've marked me as a suspected spam account because of like the mass sharing of the video stuff. Even though I always change my message, so it's even more comedic. It's like I said, they're the crappiest social media website like currently available. Like I would take, I think I ranked it before, it's YouTube that it's the best, because you get the texting feature as well as the video making feature. I'd probably put Facebook in second place, because even though videos on there don't work quite the same way, it still has that option. And then the weakest one is Twitter, just because, again, people go on there and they write stupid things, and then the website's own rules are kind of ridiculous. Like, they just decided we're going to throw away Alex Jones. We're not going to actually have a set of guidelines that you have to violate before anything else. Whatever, we can go into that later on. Let me look it up. I've never heard this person before. Why wouldn't he be? Oh, you're messing with me. Oh, I get it now. He was just conveniently in that location. I think the only one of any of these shootings where we've actually had famous people, or just not even shootings, just high profile, casualty list where a significant person has died, was in 9/11. And that's only because of just how many people that were involved in that. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm saying that outside of her, to my knowledge, no other notable person was. I guess what I'm saying is, even though she was involved, as in being a person who was there, she didn't get killed. So I still pile it under a different category of just being in the wrong place, at the wrong time. Just like with, I think it was the voice actor for what Superman was at the was at LAX when they had a shooting. What's more important issue, climate change or gun laws? I would lean toward climate change, because It's literally, are you going to save the planet? And then, I mean, again, I'm not trying to say it's a difficult question because the way this works is that whenever you answer that, people then get who think the other way get pissed at you for downplaying the seriousness of the issue, of the other issue. Sure, I am. I'm very much joking. Forget I answered. I'm gonna do my best politician impression. You're gonna ask me a question about, like, I'm answered the way that Obama would. So let's see it. What's more important? What's the more important issue, climate change or gun laws? Well, I personally think that gun laws are very important, and but at the same time, I think that climate change is very significant and definitely worth looking into, and I certainly would definitely most likely give it high consideration in my administration. And there's your revised don't take a side answer. Where did Tim go? No, Ruben, I had not a video. I had a little thing where I basically tried to impersonate the voices of like every president after Hoover. Basically all the ones that, for the most part, that we actually have the voices of. But going back to what I was saying, you've had these people posting online. What do you think about? Jesus, people always come here. They just start asking all kind of questions that have nothing to do with anything. Yeah, I saw the gash on his head when he was at the South Carolina thing. I have no opinion of it other than he's tough. He'll recover. He's built to last. I love how people attack him over his health. Like we don't have. I mean, I'm not trying to make any shots here, but we still don't have the medical records of. I think most of these public officials, like the ones that are running for president, or just any of them in general. So they're not all as healthy as you might think they are. I know that if you had told me at the start of 2017 that by the end of the following year McCain would be dead, I wouldn't have believed you. But again, that's because I wasn't aware of his medical history, and no one was, as far as just contracting cancer, brain cancer, rather. Just one of those things where stuff is not always how it appears to be. Anyway, let's get back to this massacre. I always do find it interesting when they go and they tally up all the different, like casualty numbers and sort of show you, hey, this was as bad as this one, this was as bad as that one. And I've only ever really paid attention to that when it was in the U.S. because we have them so often that they become sort of a series of, I mean, and again, because we're so desensitized to the violence of blowing someone's brain out in mass numbers, we just all kind of accept the fact that this is going to happen again. So let's tally up if the next one is bigger than the last one or how big it is in comparison with the other ones. For 20 years, we've been doing that ever since Columbine. And what's even more frustrating is that when I talked about, I think you might remember the shooting that we had in, I think it was Jacksonville at that tournament, the Madden tournament, if you remember, where there was a guy who was mad that he lost the game and then shot the I think the player that he lost the game to, and then some other player. But I had said that this is part of the reason why a lot of these public events are really dangerous to go to, because you don't know who all is there. You don't know what people have intended. And there was a person who said, well, just because there's a mass shooting doesn't mean you should always stay in, or some kind of crap. But just completely missed the point of me saying that when you have a bunch of people going somewhere, right? Like to this prayer thing, for example. those things are designed around the idea of everyone sharing a common position of we're here to do a particular thing, nothing else. Let's all engage in that thing. So when someone comes in and does the opposite, yes, it's unexpected, but it's not something that necessarily could never have happened. It's kind of like the Charleston shooting. When Roof went in there, they thought, oh, he's a person like us who wants to pray to God, and then he pulls out his firearm and shows him how evil he is. It's that kind of mentality where a majority of the people who go into these events, there's nothing wrong with, but that one person comes and screws stuff up. That's why I just don't have a lot of patience for going to these kinds of things, because there's too many people who are involved to where I can honestly say in my heart of hearts that there's nothing seriously wrong with any of them, basically, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. No, that seems to be like a recurring number, just 49. Just like the 49ers. I mean, again, we're just so used to reading a large list of people got blown to pieces. And because of the way that the world works, where people are constantly screwing and having babies and stuff, we don't care about. I guess when you have a surplus of life, it becomes almost uncharismatic to you to have a concern for the people that are dropping. Josiah says it's like the random number generator used by the elites. Use the same seed. Oh yeah, I'm it this weird number that just keeps popping up. But like I was saying, when you have a bunch of people who don't really see their fellow man as a special person or someone that's actually worth keeping around, they'll throw you out just like that. For example, I bet when he walked in there, he didn't care about any of the people getting blown to pieces. And we as a society don't care either, because we'll talk more about the shooter than the people who got killed. And there was actually a really good story about it where someone said that well, just shooting is blowing someone out. You get my point. It's not literally bombing, but just the idea of when you get shot, something like that happens. But my point is, they'll spend more time focused on the story of the person who did the crime than the people who got killed that seemingly were normal civilians, and then wonder why people feel motivated to go out and shoot someone. I mean, it's just like they don't get how much harder it is to get acclaim and or widespread recognition for doing the right thing versus getting notorious notoriety but still fame for doing the wrong thing. And then when you bring this up, that we've been over this before, the sensationalism, but what I hate is that when I've actually had people on here push back against my idea that, hey, maybe you should actually spotlight people that are doing regular things that we're actually supposed to be proud of, instead of treating them like they don't matter for the most part, unless they decide to get pissed and shoot up somewhere or blow something up. But again, no one listens, so it just keeps on happening over and over and over again. The cycle of evil. So my camera is so weird. It'll go from light on me to just complete darkness. Where did Tim go? He just disappeared. And Ruben went somewhere as well. That sucks. I'm so disappointed. I don't know about that. They probably Ruben likes to disappear. I'm gonna disappear on Twitter soon, because they're gonna get me for being a suspected spam account. It's like I change my messages up every single time, and I'm still getting called that. I have the same hashtags in a lot of instances, but the actual text is different, and they're like, oh, we think you're spamming. They had me change my password. They had me there was some other, like, 2 different instances where they've messed with me over going around and sharing this thing and changing the message up. And it only started happening after that Vic Mignogna thing took off, where that actress that's claiming he touched her, apparently has connections to Twitter. And then I had the hashtag where it was like her name is a scumbag, and I kept sharing it over and over. And then coincidentally, after being on there for years and having no trouble with the site, I get a thing telling me my account's locked. Coincidence? I think not. So I wouldn't be surprised the connections are coming out. I mean, I could always make another one, so I'm not too worried. But it's weird because they let me talk about any other public figure to you have yeah. Let me link it. Give me a second. I'm saying they haven't gotten me yet. It's coming though. There you go. Jesus. But like I said, they let me talk about anybody I want that was in office over and over and over again. And then suddenly when you say something about the actress who's going around telling people that she wants the balls in the head of another actor and spending days and hours, or rather hours of every day, messaging back random people with the most vitriolic rhetoric ever. You're the bad guy. Dude, all these websites other than YouTube have just disillusioned me in like the last couple of weeks. I appreciate the compliment, Josiah, but they just have this thing where they don't let the same level of freedom of expression. A voice actress of English dubs of foreign shows, yeah. She gets around, huh? But again, if you look at her own rhetoric, you'll see that there is a double standard for people who, just like with Rubio, he posted some picture of I think Gaddafi or there was some person, I forgot who it was, but that's something to do with Venezuela, and he sent that like as a warning to Maduro. Like, how the hell are you gonna post this graphic, gory picture of this politician and then not expect for to get flagged? And he didn't. It still was there when last time I saw it. Now you know if I posted, I would have been gone in like 5 seconds. But again, whenever someone that is famous and or a public figure does something, they never have to worry about it. Yeah. No, there was another tweet where you had the senator from Texas, Cornyn, posting a Hitler quote. I was like, what the hell? Oh my god! And again, no trouble, no problems. That's a-okay. He's in office at least until next year when he is hopefully outed by what's her name, Hernandez. Speaking of that particular race, Ruben, they have a thing where Castro's brother is trying to get in there. So the Castro that's running for president, his twin brother wants to get there. Yeah. Oh no, I follow her on Twitter, Ruben. She's great. I just hate that because she's not running for president, she can't even get any type of coverage whatsoever. And even if she was, she probably wouldn't still. But it's just people don't pay attention to any of these Senate races, and then they wonder. It's Jacquin, that's his name. They wonder why people don't. They wonder why we have a Senate that votes against their interests more often than not. It's like we don't pay attention to the people who are running for these positions, but then when they get in office and do something that affects, oh, now it's time to get up in arms. It's like, no, douchebag, you should have been worried about it before. It's called being proactive. But they don't care. Same thing with these shootings where, you ask yourself, what exactly is the, like if it happens in a particular state, what's the governor doing to stop it? If it happens somewhere else, what's the prime minister doing to stop it? The answer is nothing. They just sit around, they worry about other stuff, and then this happens, and then they give you a little stupid speech about, oh my God, so horrible, so terrible, thoughts and prayers, and then just keep it going. And again, that is not an immediate call for gun control. That's a call for the people who call themselves leaders, elected officials, right, to actually do something about the problem. Why should he be doing differently? Well, I'm not talking about him. He's fine the way he is. I mean, I don't watch his stuff, but he's, I've He's not even on my list of concerns. I'm just saying that out of these public officials, they give a nice flowery speech and they never seem to really deliver. Just like right now with this divided U.S. government, we're going to have some new gun control thing come up in one chamber. It's going to pass the House. It's going to flop in the Senate. The Democrats are going to go, "Oh my God, Republicans don't care about blah 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 blah." You know, smear their opponents as not having a merit at all for the purpose of winning next year's election. Then, if they win back the Senate, we get something, and then it's if Trump wins re-election, it gets vetoed, and then the cycle just goes on and on and on and on. God, I just wish we get to a point where some of this stuff was like Social Security, where I think we've been over this, Ruben, where Republicans initially wanted to repeal it, and then they kept losing elections, so they had to get people who were like, "Okay, fine, we'll keep it." And like they've like just the electoral process has turned everything into a partisan issue. Like you can't get any of these people to agree on anything, other than maybe that stuff sucks. But then how you achieve it is just like whatever. They don't care. Have at least stayed. Well, that's what I was saying. That I don't like. I don't. A lot of people who have a bunch of terms generally, I don't like. But I'm completely fine with doing away with term limits. I think that it was a Republican idea that was made to stop FDR from getting reelected over and over again, or some other progressive, and now progressives like it because the people they support generally don't last as long or whatever. And then it's become something that benefits Republicans now in the reverse order, where because they don't have it on the House or the Senate, they generally stay longer than Democrats do. So I'm all for getting rid of term limits. I think that they were designed to suppress the will of the people, and that you have people who think if we just get somebody new in there, things will change and be magnificent and woohoo. It's like, no, clown, it's going to stay the same because you don't even know anything about the new person you're voting for. But they can keep on dooming the rest of us with their ignorance. All right, so if either of you have anything else to say it. Otherwise, I'll close out. Really horrific shooting. Very crazy. I'm out of words. I just don't know what other way to describe it. I know Ruben's really upset he didn't get his Let's Play stream, and he wanted to watch that and have some fun and smile and look at the keyboard and wonder what I was going to put out next. But I unfortunately wasn't able to do it. This was something I thought deserved to be addressed, and we'll get to the other stuff over the weekend. I appreciate that, Josiah. It looks like Twitter doesn't though. They're trying to get rid of me. So I probably tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, as late as midway through next week, if that's any indicator. Again, because of like the way things are and stuff that's around me, that like things are rapidly changing, and I never know for sure when something's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what occurs. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and stay safe.